For years, the insecurity has been rising, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, and it's no news that people have investments in this country and it is suffering. There's food insecurity on the increase because farmers have been affected badly by the insurgents, kidnappers, call them whatever, in the northern part of Nigeria. And yet, we are the highest food providers and suppliers in Nigeria and to other countries around us. In fact, we even export to European countries as well. So where does this keep us? This video is going to give you a breakdown of how we navigate investments in northern Nigeria. It has been affected. We have serious challenges that need to be addressed. But with this breakdown, you would understand that okay, there's a way to go around it, how we've been coping the challenges, and all that good stuff. Here, the watchword is simplicity and breaking it down in the best of my ability so that everybody can understand how investment works down here. My name is Habila. I make videos about finance and entrepreneurship from northern Nigeria. I also make videos around and about Northern Nigerian lifestyle culture. I'm also an investment coach. I have an investment company, particularly an Agric investment company that helps you invest your money in the best Agric options available with as little as 10,000 naira. You can invest in money that would work for you overnight, just create passive income and we grow financially. I have been passionate about growing money for a little over 4 years. I would say I want to make money and I had always wanted to grow financially, but I have been on the journey for a little over 1 year and I decided why not let me get other people on the journey. So this is an open and vulnerable channel where we share our growth process, our setbacks, our challenges, our big wins, our small wins, all that good stuff on this channel. Please subscribe to this channel and let us grow together. So insecurity and agric investment in Nigeria. Plenty of people have been asking me, oh, how have you guys been coping? Because we know that is hot, right? So one thing I would say is it's not as bad as it looks, but it's bad. Let me explain. For people who do not live in this part of the world, in this part of Nigeria, they feel like, oh, we are literally working with lifeguards and with bulletproof vests. No, that's not what is happening. But we are working on eggshells. That's the truth. We are working on eggshells. We are working with uncertainty. We are doing a lot of things with fear, but it's not as bad as they portray it. In fact, the media has piped down a little just so that it doesn't raise a lot of people's BPs. The mainstream media have reduced the exposure of the insecurity in northern Nigeria. People are being kidnapped on a daily basis and little or nothing is done about it. Family members just find a way of sorting out their problems and life goes on. I'll share a personal story of how somebody picked up a habit because the only close auntie and relative he had was kidnapped. That's like a very little trauma. He used to smoke before, dropped smoking, and the very moment like they called them and told them, you know what, this woman has been kidnapped. That's like the only, so his mom is late and the woman is the only one catering to them and all that. Worry, fear, picked up cigarettes and started smoking. Those are like small ones. There are people who sell their entire households and their lands and their property all just to pay off kidnappers. Those monies are never traceable. Farmers are suffering the most because they're the ones who go into the inner bushes to plant crops, and when it's time for harvest, these people tell them, do not come back. There was a simple story that happened somewhere in Nasarawa where this man from Gwaza are those people that they are close to Chibok people in Maiduguri. They've been displaced. If you do not know, a lot of people from Adamawa, Borno, Taraba, and some other parts, Katsina, Zamfara, have been displaced. But you don't get to hear it. All those IDPs, you think those people are just there because they do not have homes or because they just want to stay. They have literally been displaced. They don't have villages to go back to anymore. And that's why they are living in those camps. So he relocated down to Nasarawa where he farms beans, right? And then his beans is almost ready. And then some people just told him, if you like yourself, do not come back. And he's wondering, okay, I have put in fertilizers, I have paid for services, I have tilled the land for months and months. Now it's almost time for harvest and you tell me not to come back. Yes, they'll tell you not to come back. So all of your work and your labor, and these kinds of people would be very sure that they did not farm 1 hectare, they did not farm 2 hectares, they farm 10 hectares upwards. 10 hectare meaning almost 1,000,000 square meter gone. You cannot get back that. Maybe after the season is over, they can go back, and that will be at their own risks. Now, these are the challenges that we are facing as Nigerians, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, where we are the majorly almost sole providers of food for Nigeria and surrounding countries. The northern part of Nigeria has for centuries been known for production of food. We have the corn, we have the beans, we have the groundnuts, we have sesame, we have cotton. We have them all. Most of the yams you consume come from northern Nigeria. Most of even cassava, a lot of cassava come from some part of northern Nigeria, basically north central. Palm oil, a lot of these things that you consume come from northern Nigeria. Beans does not come from the south or west, it comes from the north. Corn, groundnuts, vegetables, tomatoes, onions. See, most of your staple foods that you consume in your house, heck, even rice that you eat, comes from northern Nigeria. So now that there's a blockage between farmers and the end products, let me explain. I go to farm, according to just the last story I shared. This man goes to farm, he has put in his best, maybe even borrowed a loan to start up this farm, because yes, they give Agric loans. Now he's borrowed this money and he has started this project, and it's almost time for payback, and all of a sudden there's no farm to go back to and harvest, right? So let's say sometimes they even harvest these things and these people watch you harvest and pack and go home. They come kidnap you, or maybe they are trying to harvest something, just find a way to kidnap one person and ask for ransom that is worth more than what you have planted. Let me share with you the ripple effect of what this insecurity does. A farmer goes to the farm and is ready to harvest, just like the story I shared, and before you know it, they tell him he cannot go back to the farm to harvest. His entire crops are gone. They send in the cows to eat them. Yes, they send in cows to consume the entire hectares of land, and they really do not care. Now, that is one. He has lost his product, so the amount of product he's going to pump into the food market in Nigeria, his own part is gone. Or let's say his part is gone, and his and other stories that you might never get to hear about have been affected. So, for example, how this thing can affect is egusi last year was sold for 40,000 naira when it was in surplus, and this year it was sold for 85,000 naira when it was in surplus. You can only imagine the price of egusi next year, because mostly when it's in surplus, these farmers are hungry. They just want to sell off their products and go back home with money to feed themselves, pay school fees, pay house rent, whatever they want to do with the money. That's how the market runs. So the farmers produce, bring to the market, sell, make money, and go back home. And you that want to consume, you consume. Some people just keep it in storage until it's out of market, or when it's scarce, like people like us. That's what Kofili Enterprise does. If you do not know, we just a branch of our business. We do dry season farming, and we also do storage. We do rainy season farming, we do plantation farming as well. So the storage part, we just buy, store, and then when it's time to sell, we sell to people, and that's how we make our money and our gain. Usually we sell for higher because we've stored for a number of months. That's how it works. So these people have made egusi expensive. Some of these factors are the ones that would make egusi expensive. The farmers were not able to produce as much. The small that they brought is not enough, and we consume a lot, and so the food security of Nigeria is dropping. I don't know if this makes a lot of sense. Another way is these people allow you to farm, and you've reached harvest, you've harvested, you've gone home, or maybe on the day of your harvest they pick one person, usually the owner of the farm, and then the farmer is forced to go to the market to sell all that he has. Sometimes their lands, their houses, people contribute money just so that they're able to sell off and pay these bandits. Now, in paying those bandits, the crop you're supposed to wait and sell later to provide when it's scarce is no more. Let me give you a breakdown of how this affects the market generally. So when it's time to buy corn, or when it's time to sell corn, people bring in their corns from various places and then they put up for sale, right? It's surplus. And the truth is, if corn remains surplus, people will eat corn. But if corn becomes scarce due to storage and hoarding, people would not eat corn. They would find alternative. They will find beans, they will find cassava, they will find yam and find other things. But best believe that if corn does not go scarce, people would eat corn until corn finishes. That's how the food market works. If beans is in surplus, people will eat beans and forget that there's rice and other things and it will go. That's how it works. So if all of those things become too much in the market, it crashes the prices, so people don't make as much money as they are supposed to. Everybody is selling their corn because one family member or another has been kidnapped and they need to pay ransom, and they're paying this ransom. The market is flooded, market prices crash. People feel like, oh, this is a cheaper option of food, and they buy it and they eat until it's finished. And then the little people that are able to hoard just a little would now make the price really high when it's time to buy. Demand and supply. The higher the demand, the higher the demand, the higher the price. It's simple economics. Now, how we're able to navigate this market is, first and foremost, I would attribute it to God, because I cannot come out here and tell you people that, oh, we know when the kidnappers come out on the road, because we travel, right? As farmers and storage, as agricultural people, you have to move, right? You have to go to places where, like egusi now is in Nasarawa. I have to go to Nasarawa whether I like it or not to buy my egusi and store. When it's time to sell, I have to go back there to sell it. So I cannot tell you exactly, oh, this is how we're able to dodge kidnappers and bandits. It's not possible. I cannot say that. It's only God that protects. As much as, we try to leave as early as possible, just so that we are not late, we are not staying late night. Sometimes these things are unavoidable. An example, the last time I went to buy a egusi, we couldn't find a bus. So we had to stay and fight for buses until we got cars that would bring us to Abuja. Those are some of the challenges that we face. So we had to come in late at night. If the road was not safe, I don't know what would have happened. So those are like some of the risks that we take. But everything about life is risks, right? Waking up and going out, stepping out is risks. All that you do is risks. You just need to pick where to die. They say all die na die. It's only in this country that you will sit down comfortably and you hear bandits and kidnappers call to threaten the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, that they will find him and kill him and kidnap him. These are some of the issues. That nobody is safe, nowhere is safe. You can only find safety in God. That's the only thing I preach. I would not tell you how I've been able to navigate it. Just do your checks. Make sure you don't leave too early. Make sure you don't leave too late. Make sure you enter public transport, proper public transport. Make sure you just do your checks basically, and then pray and just be hopeful for the best. That's how we navigate it. So by the time we go out and tell you, oh, this is the price of corn, this is the price of this, and this is how we are doing it, you are in your houses under AC and scrutinizing us and making us feel like we're thieves who want to steal your money. You do not know that we sacrifice our lives daily just so that we can make ends meet. Because yes, this is how we make our own money. From the little profits we gain from our services of storing for you, that's how we make our own money. We don't used to pluck money from tree, and we cannot give you those services for free. Risking our life should even cost more than your product. But no, we're trying to make ends meet, and that's how we go around these insecurity problems, especially in Northern Nigeria. So you have found out that the insecurity trickles down to the kinds of food that is available most times in the market, that is cheaper, and the insecurity trickles down to affect the price of food and all of that. That is how this business works. I hope this video helps every other person that has been asking, how have you been coping with the insecurity situation in this country? How have you been coping? That's how I've been coping. Yeah. So we'll talk more on other sections of agric investment as the months and the weeks go by. For those who are interested, corn is still available. Please send me a message if you want us to store for you on 0901601523. The number is in the description box. You can send an email if you want to partner with us in our plantation farm. That is a higher amount of money. We want to start a guava plantation. So if you're interested, you can holler at us down there with our email basically. So there's a WhatsApp and then there's an email. Anyone that you choose is fine. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.